Oh, you weren't there? You weren't live? Sorry.
No. Like I said.
I just figured you caught all of that.
No. No. Nobody needs any of that in their lives.
That's probably true.
Yeah. All right, the audio's looking good.
That's what they all say.
Well, I mean, how many times can I mess up before I actually think to check as we're going live to make sure that things are still going good?
I don't know, Joe. How many times?
What number are we at right now?
I was gonna say T minus whatever 5 episodes ago. Yeah, that many episodes.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Forget it. We're doing it. Oh. What is the phrase I keep seeing for that's like, oh, my sweet summer child.
Yeah.
He's incapable. Watch him; he'll make the same mistakes over and over. Something.
Dictating my life, Joe.
Something Sisyphus. Something huge rock.
Huge rock.
Massive. Just a big old bouldery boy.
I don't know if I believe you.
I don't know if I understand where this conversation went.
Don't understand, Paul. It's for the best.
There's not much to intersect here. Well, howdy ho, everybody.
Howdy ho, neighbor.
Diddly. Justin, thanks for joining us.
You probably saw it from the yeah, exactly. Probably saw from the thumbnail when you clicked in, but I'm just gonna throw up this nice picture Dennis had to send me of the old card, because it's what we're gonna be talking about tonight. It's pretty.
There's word on the street.
It's a good looking knife. One might even call it a knife.
It might. Would they be correct though?
No.
That's fair.
The easiest answer for you is just no.
In any context. Is it correct? No.
The word is knife or knives if it's plural. But put an E or a V or a nothing at all. Something. I don't know.
There was almost sense in that. That's okay.
How about knaves?
Knaves? We're the knaves, obviously.
Yeah,
Knaves is a thing, but
oh, do we have to start like a Knaves Knives parody channel called Knaves Knives?
I don't know if it'll be a parody or not.
All we review is like bollocks daggers and bullshit from them. That would make it a parody channel.
Knaves Knives, yeah. That's terrible, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. I got bollock daggers on the mind because Todd Cutler posted something nice on Instagram today, and actually none of them were bollock daggers, but somebody in the comments said like, I want one of each, even the bollocks dagger. I'm like, what do you mean even the bollocks dagger? That's like Paul's whole reason for being into Todd Cutler's stuff.
I mean, when you say it like that, I'm not, but like, kind of also, yeah.
How else are you going to say it realistically?
I mean,
if I could only have one, it would be a bollock dagger.
He makes some nice looking stuff. There's a.
By that I mean one of his, not one knife for the rest of my life.
I understand.
Yeah, none of that nonsense.
Ah, man, that's a thread that keeps popping up over and over on Blade forums. Is one knife for the rest of your life. What do you pick out of your collection or whatever? And it's. People always give the same boring answers. I never see anybody answer with something like truly ridiculous.
Bollocks dagger, carried scout style.
Hell yeah. That's awful.
Tells you a lot about a man.
It's very traditional. Tied to the front of your pants, sticking out through the front of your coat.
Yep. Is that your knife handle, or you're happy to see me? It is my knife handle. I'm not happy to see you.
I feel like that just makes that whole thing just that much easier for somebody to try and accomplish.
I just know awful. I'm never asking you to take your coat ever again.
Yeah. Oh, you missed a button there.
Just putting the mouse back in his house.
It totally would be the dress if you're wearing a bollock dagger. You've also got like a trench coat up, just buttons all the way down. That fits.
Proper oilcloth like duster.
Well, I'm gonna put forward that the knife we're talking about tonight is a lot nicer looking than a bollock dagger.
Yes.
It's a fair statement, I think. Like,
I don't know if people would find that too controversial or not, but I thought I'd put it out there.
I know what kind of asshole would buy this knife, right, Fist?
Scuffed. It's off center. It's made in China. It's half the price of any ZT on the market. What the hell?
Didn't even talk about the fact that it was missing the clip.
Wow.
I like how
even with the clip. Yeah.
I like how that didn't even factor into any of that. Just
I hid the clip. Don't worry about it in this photo. There's nothing to see there.
Sure isn't.
There's literally nothing to see there.
I'm sure the knife lays much flatter without it.
I think we've waffled enough, huh? What are you guys carrying today?
I'm just gonna quickly shout out to Black Frost in chat.
Yeah, I'm going last. So
okay,
you're going last.
I'll go first.
All right.
If nobody else wants to.
Did you see what I'm carrying?
I did.
Okay. I figured that would segue us into a topic.
For sure.
Come on.
Yeah. Shall I go?
No.
All right. Yeah. Joe, you're up.
Really? Okay.
Sorry, I got distracted with the fact that he kept it for Fist kept the clip for his $500 McNeese. It is a nice clip. Now I got to go like MXG with a silver tumbled titanium one for too much money. I tell you. It's
a good looking clip though.
Anyway, Joe, what are you carrying? Do we not care? Are we going to go back to Paul?
Don't worry about it. That's a disconcerting answer. No, carrying something new to me today, actually, but discontinued from Spyderco for a little while now. Lee Jr. Finally picked this silly little guy up. It's better than the PM3. Fight me.
It's probably better than the PM2.
Yeah. I don't have opinions. I don't agree with those opinions. This is a super weird knife. The designer had initially drawn it up for his kid, if I remember correctly. It was kid's first knife, something that's relatively safe. Your fingers aren't going to ride up into the blade thanks to that ridiculous forward choil. Compression lock makes it super strong, easy to disengage when you want it to, but not accidentally. It's very thin and lightweight. It's a very broad blade. It's so much fun, and it's my first compression lock outside of the smock. So I feel a little bad about that, but
hey, we both got our first compression locks this year.
Yeah,
we got it on that weird Q knife or S knife or QS knife or QP knife. I'm not sure. Anyway,
many thanks to one of our regulars from the shop, Doug. Thank you a bunch for this. I took too long to pick it up for you, so thank you for holding it for me. It's very kind of you. It's VG10 I don't know how clear that is in the photo there to you guys, but yeah, it's fun. It's cute. I've been carrying it all day.
I hate to say it, but the one advantage that these PM2 and PM3 have over it is steel, and that's it. Everything else, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's a good, nice, wide blade for slicing.
Fisk's comment there, what kind of cancer? I mean,
there is depth in that conversation, and I don't know if we want to go there.
It takes a turn for the worst. All right. Anyway,
I guess I'll go next.
Yeah, sure. That's probably for the
best. Go ahead, pineapples. It says Alex Explosion is joining in. What do you got for us?
I'm rocking my Benchmade Adamas.
Yeah, you are.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a good little knife.
It is.
It's a good knife.
It's good.
It's a good.
It's a good.
I think you got lint in your pivot.
I mean, it's seen some pocket time.
Not everybody carries around a can of compressed air with them.
Yeah.
You should. There. It's just an air horn. It's just an air horn. Whenever I have to blow something out.
Oh. I'd have a lot of fun with them. People would hate me.
Just clean it out my knife. What? Like it's.
Yeah, at 120 decibels.
That needs to be a YouTube video for sure.
Hey, can you clean out the pivot of my knife? Yeah, sure. Hold on. Just give me 1 second.
Give me a few seconds. I got just the thing.
Could you get the speed holes too?
Oh, you can get the speed holes.
I take what I said back.
That's fair.
Dick Richards, CPM evening, gentlemen. So I guess that rounds me out to me.
It does.
Yeah. So Sunday carry pick. Yeah, I've been rocking it since Friday. Since I was actually carrying it just out of coincidence, but the good old Pleroma, CPM. Rest in peace, Elijah Isham.
Yes.
Don't know what craziness ensued, but that big go fuck yourself gun is something else that they recovered from the scene.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a story there.
Indeed.
I'm sure.
I don't want to make any assumptions, much less live on a video, but yeah, I'm super sad about what happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm carrying the Pleroma. Yeah, I was on Friday. I happened to bring it in because Paul and I were chatting about some things.
Yeah, coincidentally, I've been looking at some Elijah Isham
knives. I was gonna say, was it Thursday or Wednesday that you and I were looking at the Arrakis? Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
Okay, well, there's some crazy stuff, man.
Take that name out your mouth.
It's making your palms itchy, is it?
Take that name out your mouth.
Fine.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no.
For you, CPM, you crazy so-and-so. Which one?
Oh.
So, yeah.
I'm hoping to see it's the right answer.
Yeah. CPM happens to have bought an Arrakis on Thursday.
Indeed.
Not sure if that means you bought it in person or you're waiting for it to be delivered, but yeah.
I don't know if anybody's mentioned it, but this is a really nice shot.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Thanks. Yeah. It positioned itself well in the overcast skies. We've been having some like rain, hail, whatever. I got some thunder clouds. Nothing actually happened though. It's weird.
Yeah, maybe hail later? I hope not. No, I hope not.
Yeah, we don't need that shit.
No. Wow.
So yeah, that's gonna segue into. We might as well talk about it. Yeah. Or are we gonna talk about it? I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about it?
About what had happened, or?
Well, yeah, dabbled on in the comments. I don't know if you knew, but crazy accident ensued with Elijah Isham flipping his car.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, as if you're talking about our comment section here, it's a little bit behind for me. It seems like the last couple of weeks the comments have been delayed on my side.
I wasn't looking at comments. I was just chatting about.
Oh, okay.
The segue from me carrying the pleroma to the craziness that ensued.
Yeah.
So I said something the first time that I saw a picture of Elijah on, I think it was posted somewhere on Reddit or something. After seeing a picture of him, first thing out of my mouth, and it seems in poor taste now, but looking at him was like, oh wow, he looks like a number of my depressed ex-classmates from art college. Just, he looks, like, it's like, holy shit. Like, yeah, the hipster vibe for sure, but he definitely had that, like, that view, that demeanor.
You can relate to the depressed kid from art college thing, Joe? Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Cuts a little deep, but no, specifically, he actually reminds me of a kid who was in, he was in one of my illustration courses with me. I don't think there's much of a familial resemblance necessarily, but yeah, just like, the resemblance was kind of uncanny. And after hearing about what had happened and the fact that there was he had some sort of run-in with the law previously, just prior to this. They talk about it in the article that discusses his death, but the fact that the gun wasn't loaded, and after flipping a vehicle, he had pointed it at people who were trying to help him, and then at the police after they arrived. It's hard to say that reads as anything other than suicide by cop, but not a great.
Well, even the crash beforehand and stuff like that, that all goes hand in hand together.
Yeah, and the only thing I can say about that is just at least there was just the one fatality. Like,
yeah,
that's the only silver lining in this situation, that it was just one person. But even so, that's still.
Duty rear-ended that called 911. I mean, So
just kind of brutal. Anyway,
it is what it is. It's disappointing. There was some sweet designs out there. Yeah.
Definitely from a more selfish perspective, I'm very disappointed and never going to see where that career goes, and what else he had in mind and what he wanted to do.
The craziness that could have come. You know what I mean? Like, just the absolute insanity in his designs and how that could have evolved over.
A
couple decades.
No, a lot of possibilities that now just kind of have one unfortunate ending. So that's brutal, very brutal.
Anyway, and I figured I threw up a picture, and I don't know if these even came to fruition, but I sent Joe something that as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, the cowboy rednecky man who likes Bowie knives sure fell in love with this.
The
sure,
Pixie.
like one of those.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, it was Wee Knives that did it, but it was carbon fiber with S35 in like this keyhole integral.
Yeah, that's like Trailmaster sized. I fucking dig it. It's a cool ass fucking boat.
It's Trailmaster sized? Jesus Christ.
It's fucking gigantic.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
man. You know me? Come on.
Trailmaster size, but more Marauder width almost.
Okay, and like what? It's the weight of two Trailmasters? Because that is a broad freaking blade, man. That is nuts.
I don't know with the back grind and the whatever, right? Like
that looks like full. That looks like full flats. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. The overall thickness may not be as high, but that full, like, the flat of the grind continues all the way to where that swedge begins. So it's got to be something substantial. That's a cool looking knife. I've always liked that keyhole look to handles. Yes. This is definitely more suitable for a production knife, but still super sweet.
Anyway, I don't know. I've never seen one out in the wild, but Jiminy Cricket, it's on my list. Yeah. So.
Yep. You should throw up a picture of an Arrakis. I didn't send you one, but you should throw one up. Just
do your homework, man. I tell you. You knew the topic was going to come up. Yeah. Like,
let's go to.
And you had the day off.
The selfish side of me doesn't want to show it off because, like, shit, I want to get my hands on one, but I'm probably not going to be able to get my hands on one.
Okay, so I'm at the We Knives website here. So these are the two variations.
The 906F is the correct choice.
The 906F. Okay, well, they only give me 2 results here on their website, and they don't list either of those.
If you type in the search, the 906F, it will come up.
Oh, will it?
Yeah.
Well, this is the 906C.
Does also that mean that those 2 are the ones that are available, and you can't get these 2 right now?
I believe that may be the case, but it does say buy it now here, so I didn't know.
Yeah, that's the one.
Let's take a look at the. That is a nice one with the flame titanium.
It does say buy it here, right?
It does, yes. Now you can also select all these different options. Okay, no, it does look like they have them in stock. So what's the difference between these 2 different categories? There's the blue brown TI handle, stonewash finish versus titanium, full titanium handle, I guess. The top 3 are all tie on tie. The bottom are
carbon fiber on tie.
Yeah. I don't see the option for the crazy one with the Damasteel, the full dress that Shabazz scored a couple weeks ago here, I think.
This is not the knife that Shabazz got. He got the dress Catan.
Oh, right. Sorry, right.
Very similar overall like profile and stuff like that, but even crazier.
My mistake.
And apparently CPM is mentioning that he got the carbon fiber Damasteel one. So
that's
right up in there, Paul. Right,
but it's
up.
Not the right choice. Flame Anno with the M390.
Okay, I wish you know what.
Yeah, I wish edge retention matters on this knife. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I'm going to use the fuck out of this thing.
No, Damasteel is the right answer for this knife. If you're going to go blings, I agree with CPM on this one.
Definitely.
It's not worth $800.
You're not worth $800.
That's hurtful.
Hurtful.
Yeah, that's just hurting my feelings.
How much for Paul's ransom?
Down a peg, I think.
How much for Paul's ransom? $799. Oh, thank God.
Take it or leave it.
Does that include sales tax?
Sales tax and a ransom, Jesus. I kind of wish we had a straw poll here. Because I really don't like the look of Flame Anno Titanium. Not like this. Not this stripy kind of really... I get why people like it, but I personally really don't.
So, I don't like it in a lot of applications. For some reason, I think it really works on this knife.
I think it worked on the Ferrum Forge, whatever that one was called, better. The big fat thing with the holes in the blade.
Is it the Bishop?
Fair enough.
Maybe. I don't think that's the right knife. Anyway,
no,
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I plan on using the hell out of that thing, and I want to take pictures of nice landscapes through the holes in it.
Of course you do. Yeah, that sounds about right.
No.
And I want to be photobombing it over with a tree over here.
Yeah.
Dennis in the background just dabbing behind a tree.
No. 2 fingers straight in the air.
Oh. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for Dennis's double bird photobombing Paul in the future.
The title is One More Ruined. It's
Flame Anno stripes remind me of 80s jazzercise pants. What's wrong with 80s jazzercise pants?
Do we have to answer that question there, Paul?
I think it's imperative that you have an answer because that sounds made up. The 80s were a delight.
The 80s. I think you got shown things through rose-colored glasses in the 80s if you think the 80s were a delight.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't live through them, but I've heard nothing but horror stories. So.
Well, there's goods and bads, but
yeah.
Oh, like any other time, right?
High.
Mm-hmm. They certainly were.
All right, let's get away from this wee knife dumpster fire.
All right. So old guard, you say?
Did you call the Arrakis a dumpster fire?
You heard me. The flame anode one, at least. Come on.
So is Monterey Bay
my second choice?
Monterey Bay made in the Wee Knife Factory by any chance?
Is it? No. Does this look like a thing we would make?
I don't know. It's made overseas.
To be honest, it looks like a thing that what is that fucking company called that makes all the stupid shit?
I was gonna say Riot, but they make some stupid shit, but a lot of their stuff is pretty nice.
This is Quartermaster. Looks like something Quartermaster would make. If they made it, it would be all sharp angles and awkward elbows.
You're talking about the Arrakis, aren't you, Paul?
Yeah. This is gorgeous.
I was trying to segue over to the old guard, but
that's fine. Sorry.
That's all right.
That's what I thought we were talking about. I was so confused, but that's kind of a mean thing to say about the old guard.
Looks like it's a gas station knife.
It does. Absolutely, it does. I don't think you can argue that. Gas station knives can be made to look like art, but gas station knives, what was it? I forget if it was Metal Complex had a video on this recently. Just the difference between like garbage knives and really high end like art knives, visually speaking. Sometimes there's not that much difference. Execution is key. Obviously, you can have a well polished just mess of a sculpture of a knife. Other times you get a pleroma and they look sexy as hell.
This is pretty in the same way that the pleroma is pretty, I would say.
I agree with that.
In the sense that
to a degree. Clean knives, nice curves, decent machining. Sure.
So Fisk is hinting that it may or may not be Kaiser, but those are unsubstantiated rumors. I'm pretty sure that legal papers are going to follow Fisk's way for those kind of comments, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is that something Kaiser does?
That's the trend. Did I say Tron? What?
You said
Trunge. It's like grunge and trending.
Well, it's the trendy grunge, you know.
No, I can fuck with that. That's all right.
It's a trunging.
Is that Nirvana? The
trunging?
Trunge?
You know what?
Pretty sure it's British.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the old.
Are we?
Yeah. Can I tell you my
Knaves, knives? You know.
Can I tell you the one thing I have to bitch about with this knife, other than the fact it didn't come with a clip?
It didn't come with a trunging.
It didn't.
What is your one bitch?
It's such a minor bitch too. But those thumb studs, they look similar to things I've seen in the past. They sure do remind me of something.
Yeah, they're a Benchmade thumb stud.
Yeah, they sure are. They absolutely are, 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that bugs me so much, but it does.
All right. I'll see if I can get some valet ones that are smaller sized, and then it'll be a little more subtle.
That might actually be the thing to do, because I don't think that these thumb studs were necessarily too... How do I want to say this even? Like it bugs me, honestly, that they're Benchmade thumb studs. It just does.
But
that's a weird thing to... Go ahead.
to bitch about?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, screw you the price. Even retail out of their store when you could get them. Screw you the price. Like it's
Yeah, and that's fine. I wish they had ripped off a different Benchmade thumb stud.
That's not the right answer. Go
yes,
F
it
yourself.
What?
Listen, you and
got...
Ken Steigerwaltz.
You got a problem? You got a problem with these?
Out.
Oh, you got a problem with these?
The Kona Damas thumb stud isn't any better either. Jesus Christ!
Okay, look,
who's gonna rein this chat in tonight? Oh my god!
I got some comparison photos of the large and small Sabenza because of how similar a lot of the lines are. And I really, really wish that looking at the Benchmade thumb studs, they had just gone for something a little bit nicer. Just like how, these guys are.
It's terrible.
Would have been good. It would have been good.
It's terrible.
Because people they just praise the Chris Reed thumb stud.
They do. And I don't get it. It is comfy. It's perfectly fine. You're all on glue.
The guy that doesn't feel anything with his thumbs.
Okay, we'll leave it up to Fisk, and you know what? I'll concede if Fisk.
I'm gonna buy a Benchmade Megumi just for the wood thumb studs and put it on this goddamn thing.
Oh, that would actually be really nice.
And then sell the Megumi afterwards because I don't like that
knife. That's totally fine, but like just that little bit of a wood inlay on the thumb studs, that'd actually be kind of a nice touch. I don't know if I know the
Megumi, but I guess we're talking like the what was the other one?
It's a Benchmade compression lock. I'm sorry, Benchmade button lock.
It's the...
Oh, it wasn't the Megumi. What was the other Japanese one with the window holes?
Oh, that was the
Seibu.
Yeah.
That one had the Cocobolo thumb.
That's actually the one I meant to say, but the Megumi also has the single thumb stud, so I got away on like technicality on that one. So
CPM,
you want to make it lefty only, you jerk.
CPM, what he was saying that the Sabenza thumb studs are the worst. Come on, you're supposed to side with me, not these two.
No, that's you need to Spidey hole a Sabenza.
Spidey. Oh, actually, you know what? That's one mod I don't have.
I know. I've lost Fisk, I don't know, half a dozen times for making that comment on the channel.
Look, I like Spidey holes and I like Sabenzas, and you know what? They're a decent match. They're a decent match.
I think it would work well.
But for this knife, honestly, the fact that this is my kind of my only bitching point, but for you want a butt for, but for the fact that this is really my only like quote unquote complaint with this knife. Yeah, titanium M390 lines like a Sabenza. Let me find that comparison pic because dang, the thing's nice.
Yeah, we got a bunch of comparison pics. Come on.
Dennis has a couple in here too. Let me find those. Yeah, these will be nice. So, yeah, the lighting wasn't the best for some reason with that one.
That bog oak's coming along nicely, Joe.
It's turning into yeah, it's turning into bog oak.
You turn things into bog oak. That's amazing. That's like a superpower.
It's not one you should be happy to have, though. It's just not.
I mean, there's worse things you could have.
I don't know. Just put this nice slab of pine in your pocket.
That's a little better. Sure, we'll use this one instead. Oh, did both of them close? That's silly. Weird. Anyway, yeah, it's about the same size overall as the Sabenza. It's got a very small forward choil, and I keep saying forward. I don't mean forward of the pivot. I mean like it's towards the front end of the handle. I do like the sweeping lines on this, like how the handle generally does this kind of a motion. It arcs as opposed to the Sabenza where it sort of comes in and then back out again. But they're very comparable knives in overall shape and size. Flat grind, though. Sorry?
Said it specifically, particularly in the blade shape.
Yes. Yeah. Very nice, simple drop point blade. I think most people would find that profile useful.
And that handle comfortable with that nice, gentle arc.
Yeah. And the fact that it's actually contoured. So unlike the Sebenza, which is just flat across the top and bottom, this actually does have a bit of curvature to it, very similar to how this knife has a little bit of curvature going that way. On that axis. Yeah. So very comfortable in the hand. Did have to factor in that this didn't have a clip when we were reviewing it, but even accounting for that, it's exceptionally nice in the hand.
Dennis, I think you should get a leather sheath made for this and just carry it on your belt.
You're stupid.
That wasn't subtle at all.
I'm gonna go to MXG. They've got a milled titanium one, and we're just gonna do that because that's the right answer. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about as far as leather pouch, no clip, blah blah blah. I marked, but I know that's why I got it at such a decent price. Again, thanks, Fisk. If you throw up the one with the fancy pouch that it came with.
Yes.
Fisk also threw in super fancy coin. I don't know. Paul, what's this coin? Fisk is going to hate me for not knowing.
Morgan silver dollar.
Sure, cool. I appreciate that. It looks super nice. And I appreciate it for what it is, even though I'm not a coin guy in any sort of way. It's on the desk or the nightside table now, so that's fancy. It just sits in the EDC tray because I'm not lugging it around, but if it's kicking around, I might take a picture with it because I'm sure you can get some fancy contrast with it. So
absolutely.
She pretty.
Still, it's got a little special, I don't know, je ne sais quoi to it.
I knew you were going to say that. It rings
nice when you flick it.
Does the old guard ring when you flick it?
Got to be a euphemism in there somewhere.
Yeah. Don't have to dig that deep.
So to speak.
And then we didn't dabble on it as well, but can you throw up the comparison shot with the Dragonfly? Because standard comparison shot with the Dragonfly, and then you had requested, you son of a bitch, a shot of the Sleesh Bowie. Bowie?
Yes.
Bowie. Yeah.
Talking about similarities. Yeah, there's less in common here than there is against, say, the Sebenza, but I think it's a good comparison.
As soon as I saw this knife the first time, I made this comparison. When I saw it in person, when Dennis got it.
It's spec-wise, it's almost identical. Blade length, handle length, like you look at them and you're like, wow, that's just a Sleesh Slim type of thing. Yeah, and not quite. The blade shape's a little bit different, but yeah.
A little bit less belly, but honestly, I think for most people's day-to-day, that's actually going to be better for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, so you did mention earlier when these things are available. When are these things available? Are they limited drops? Do they do runs of like 40 or 50 at a time? Or how do you know how they do them? How's the availability with these guys?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
Because every time I look at... Sorry?
So I think everything's out of stock right now.
Well, I was just going to say, because every time I go to their website and I look at something like, I don't know, the the EZC? No, the EWC, the Everywhere Carry. Every time I try and track one down to the website, out of stock. It's sick.
But they have an email list, so...
They do.
I need to get myself on an email list for a slayback.
That is actually a clever idea on their part, for sure.
Building a mailing list?
Yeah. You're just asking to sign up.
Yeah.
And building their following just on feedback and callback. And even if you don't like their 6 designs, if you like 2 of them or 1 of them or whatever, you're going to put yourself on that mailing list, which opens them up to some degree, but they're a very limited catalog.
Oh yeah, for
Monterey
sure.
Bay has a little more option when it comes to.
Yeah, absolutely. I just meant the email was for this one particular knife.
Yes. Yeah.
But MBK, by having a mailing list for several different models at once, if that is how they're running it,
well, they just have a sign up for a mailing list about upcoming releases.
Right.
So
Fifth makes an interesting point in chat here about the availability.
They do.
Saying they announced drops a decent amount, and he's not had trouble getting stuff even an hour or two after the drops started. So
they don't quite have the notoriety to sell out or crash servers, but
which is, I think, for the best. Don't do that.
Yeah. I mean,
if you want a knife, buy it. But if you're just buying them to then turn around and sell them for twice the price, you're a scum and I hate you.
And I think the reason why we don't see that as much here is because MBKs are still fairly regularly available, even if they are only being produced in drops. So it kind of discourages the aftermarket scalpers a little bit. Sorry, Dennis.
Well, and they do have the, what is it, MBK? Weird spear pointy thing with the flipper is the one knife that they do have available even right now, which is probably their latest drop. So if you go on their homepage, they do have one model available.
May as well hop over there quick while we're chatting about the old guard, but
called the Turbo. And I'm dumb and recorked my mead and can't get it open, so I'm gonna go get a Swiss Army knife.
Burp, burp.
Oh, really? It's the Peter Carey design that he's interested in. Yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense.
CPM says you can't flip MBKs. There's too many of them in the wild, which is good.
That is excellent. That's good for the company.
Saturate the market.
Yeah. Great for the company, and honestly, great for the average consumer who wants to pick one of these guys up.
Absolutely.
Being able to meet demand is
that much more.
Yeah. The slayback.
The question: carbon fiber or the all titanium?
Well, do you only get one option with the large and one option with the small?
As far as I know.
What you're really asking is, are you Paul or are you Dennis? So come on, because
but
we
the
both
size
know the
difference.
answer to both of those.
Well, okay.
You're gonna get the carbon fiber, and I'm gonna get the TI version.
No, but I want the TI version, but it's too big. It's the 3 3/4 inch blade.
Well,
this is the weird.
You just have to come to terms with things that are too big.
And I very well might, because I think that's the right choice. I just wish they made the smaller one in an all titanium.
Yeah, honestly, after playing with it's a small Sinkovich ZT. I used to remember all these things. The 450. So you lost it?
No, I want the ZT.
Oh Jesus. Okay, I thought you said I lost the ZT, because I was gonna say you have the all-tie version of this.
Yeah.
And I kind of regret not holding out for the all-tie, because I really like the way it feels. This is good. I do enjoy it. It is a nice knife, but the full tie definitely has a different feel to it. I kind of wish you could get either the carbon fiber or the tie in both sizes. Because for me, I'd probably go with the carbon fiber for the large, and if it was the small, I'd go with the full tie.
That's interesting. Same amount of weight.
Yeah, roughly, right? Anyway, so this is a Peter Carey design that Dennis wants. The handle looks like a TRM Atom, so I find that very funny.
It totally does. Yeah,
this isn't what I want. I was just saying that
the turbo?
It's available.
Oh, I thought you said this is the one you were interested in.
Well, if you're going to be all TI versions versus carbon fiber versions, that's where I was going. Not the model itself. Okay. I don't want this knife at all. Doesn't do it for me in the slightest.
I was going to say, because we've had Spyderco Peter Carey designs in the past, and you're like, kind of lukewarm on them. So
wait, is this the guy that did that friggin' orange and carbon fiber monstrosity?
Called the Rubicon, you son of a bitch, and it won Knife of the Year.
Because I can see the Rubicon in this knife now.
It's basically the same knife. I mean, even looking at the specs, it's like, this is a Rubicon.
There's no hole in this knife.
Yeah,
completely different knife.
Okay,
they invented something unique.
Well, that's why they won the award, right? Anyway,
well, of course, it was innovative.
Okay, we should be talking about the old card instead of taking the piss out of Spyderco, but
at one point I was going to try and segue over from Joe's comment about the thumb stud to my complaint about not the thumb stud specifically, but I guess in action.
Okay.
And it is the minorest of complaints because it falls in the category, I would say, of the nice strong detent that I like in a lot of knives. It reminds me of Dennis's Rhino, the way it pops open, or my Fox Tur.
Okay.
But it is definitely on the higher, harder detent side of that section that I like. And I wish it was just a little bit softer.
Just a little bit too crisp, huh?
I'm sure if it was my knife, I would get used to it and it wouldn't bother me really quickly.
Did you have any moments where you go to open the knife and your thumb just kind of skiffs off the top of the...
No, it locked you in pretty well and you popped the knife, but I noticed that after a couple pops, I was like, oh yeah, I can see that getting tender pretty quick.
And I mean, not as much as other knives that have come into our collection, for sure. But I did notice after 3 or 4 days of popping it, but it's got like such a dialed in detent as well that, it fires good. The people were pinning the frame lock for sure. As righties, as a lefty, it's a beautiful thing because my thumb is off of the frame lock that I'm firing on, right? So
I did find that reverse flicking it wasn't the worst thing in the world either. I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah, like if what I prefer is a 10, this is a 9. Like it's not far off. It's just there's very little that I find unagreeable about this knife, and I needed something as far as like I don't like blah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think for me, this knife kind of falls into a category where it does a lot of things really well, but there's not a ton about it that really stands out, if that makes sense.
It's very like nondescript-y, I guess. Yeah.
The knife is like all
it's
execution.
The Gray Man of the knife world.
Don't. We're not bringing that term back. Dennis had a picture of it here in hand. I want to pop that guy up too.
Pop it out.
It's popping. But I'm not saying that knives have to do big crazy things in order to be relevant or to, like, again, I like weird shit for sure, but I also like really standard uncomplicated designs, and I think this is a really standard uncomplicated design that does a good job at being itself. Again, my biggest bitch is that it uses Benchmade thumb studs, and I'm not super crazy about them, and I wish they had used something else. But
I would argue that it takes the like form knife, simplifies it, and then turns that into art. Is the way I see this knife.
That's a pretty glowing review, even just by itself. Gotta say.
I mean,
all right, New York Times, simmer down.
I felt pretty proud of that one. All right,
it's not bad. It's not bad. So
I'll give it to you.
Well, Dennis owns it. There's a reason why Dennis was interested in it.
Yeah. For sure, pulled the trigger as soon as I could sway Fisk, and by sway I mean response to yeah.
I still remember the day that you were like, oh, I think I'm buying an old guard. And then like a minute later you're like, so I just bought an old guard.
Well, kind of. Yeah. We won't go into international payment fiasco. What do you mean you're not a business? It's anyway.
Some kind of snafu. It's too bad.
Either way, I appreciate it. I will say this thing's a bitch to get a decent picture of as far as the grind itself goes, to not get a weird reflection, something that
it's kind of this muted satin finish. Like I had that picture up of the, which one was it here? Yeah. Like, look at how odd that looks.
It almost looks like a ceramic knife in that picture in Dennis's hand. Yeah.
And then here's another
one. Is it
one.
hollow?
No.
Yeah. Well,
no. Okay.
Is it a hollow flat?
What does it say?
Swallow?
Is the HG stand for hollow? I don't know.
It sure feels like a flat. And
I don't know. It's got a weird contour to it. That's for sure.
If it is hollow, it's like ever so slight, and it definitely is. I won't call this
12-inch wheel.
Fat behind. Yeah, like this isn't fat behind the edge, but it's not like the same kind of reduction you would get on a Sabenza or on like a Smock or something like that. It's not quite to that degree.
I haven't cut a ton with it just because of the lack of clip. I mean, that's really its downfall at this point. I have put a couple clips on it. I know what's compatible. I don't know what's not. So I am going to be ordering a clip, like I said, from MXG. They have a milled titanium one that fits that 2-hole pattern. So we're going to do it up on that. And
nice. We should probably bring up a picture of the old guard here just to show how the clip should look when you get the knife.
If you get the knife, when you get the knife, if you ever see the knife again.
Yeah, all those caveats there.
You should buy a Damascus clip from Monterey Bay Knives. It's only $75 US.
I thought there was me answers and then there was you answers. And that is not a me answer, Paul. That is a you answer.
No, but I really hope that the slayback has the same clip pattern because I fucking want it.
You'll just upgrade it right there.
Yeah.
You won't pay Damasteel for an Arrakis, but you'll pay how much for a goddamn
$75
Damascus clip.
Yeah. And then I'll put this clip on something else. I'll follow in Fisk's footsteps.
It's not a bad clip.
Fisk steps, even.
So, judging where it falls...
There's 4 of them, by the way. It's 4 steps, not just 2.
Fair enough.
He's a minotaur. It's...
Anyway, this clip looks pretty good. It reminds me of Paul's Centurion?
Artisan?
The Artisan.
Centauri?
Centauri, thank you. I was like,
someone's got to have the right name for it. Jesus.
Anyway, it's
what,
the
you
knife.
Want me to own the knife and remember its name?
Can't do both. I only need to know the name so I can order it, and then when I have it, I can forget about the name.
Yeah. Now it's just, hey, look, it's this one.
Hey, look, it's my knife. This looks like it's going to be a really comfortable clip. It looks like it's cornered and radiused. Yeah, I can't see this being terrible in hand. Although it is a little hard to tell in some of these pictures exactly how tall it looks, it doesn't seem that bad. Like height off of the handle. Yeah.
Is it a surprise to anybody that Ray Laconico designed both of these clips, and Fisk is praising a milled clip for the first time I think I've ever seen?
Yeah.
This is legitimately the best milled clip in my collection.
Dude, it's the best milled clip in probably any of our collections in terms of comfort. Like, it's... I can't...
Yeah. Looking at mill clips, I don't have a ton. The Rhino is pretty chunky. The Pleroma is not bad.
No, the Pleroma is
nice. No, the Pleroma is pretty nice. But just something about the heavy contour.
In general, the Pleroma is nice.
Yeah, that's a nice clip too. I don't know if I...
Good old Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm not going to zoom in. You're not going to get a zoom in at all. Blurry hand. That's
all you get.
So yeah, complaints would be benchmade thumb sets. I guess if you're gonna complain about something, I'm just looking at this knife. I'm like, goddamn, it's a dentist knife. Like, it really is. As soon as it came in, I was just like, yeah, that one's gonna stick around for a while. So,
I forgot I got some
Damascus thumb studs as a replacement.
Some what now in the who's it? They're
Damascus thumb studs.
Oh,
you probably shouldn't.
No.
Here's a comparison shot of the thickness between a 21 and the MBK holder. Pretty similar. Basically, if you've ever held a Sabenza, I'm like, wow, I wish this used a better blade steel. The old guard.
Fisk is requesting if we can find a first gen old guard. I don't know if I remember seeing a first gen old guard or not, or what exactly the differences are. But
I think his Micarta one was a first gen from what we've had conversation about.
Micarta. Well, that might make the search a little bit easier.
I believe. I might be wrong.
Well, we'll try that first. Oh, those look like different studs. Those look really different.
Micarta.
I'm just looking for a better picture than what's on Knife News because it's kind of blurry. Does MBK? No, that's their website has
the same camera as Dennis.
Dennis's pictures are not nearly as blurry.
No, I just mean when he was holding it up in front of the camera right now.
Oh, that camera. I was like, he manages pretty good shots most of the time.
Throwing back to the a minute ago.
Well, here's those definitely look like different studs. Still cylindrical, still fairly tall, but they don't have the same kind of like multiple steps to the top of the texture. That does look a lot better. I don't know how I feel about the micarta scale. It looks pretty handsome, but I think I'd prefer the full tie.
Well, there's the right answer, and then there's the micarta answer. I mean, put the micarta thumb studs on the full TI. That would be, why not, right? Yeah. Might as well have wood Cebu studs on there.
Again, that would be classy as hell, especially since like there's no wood anywhere else on that knife. So just to see just a little bit of it there, that'd be kind of cool.
What I do with my knife and the sanctity of my house, Joe, is none of your business.
You know what?
There's no wood right there for now.
I'm gonna just glaze right over that.
Yeah, so is Paul. That's,
There it is. Anyway. Yeah. Does aside from the pinching the lock bar shut issue, is there any other real problem? And Paul was saying the detent. Is there really anything else that stands out as like a problem with this? Because even
D10 is bang on. Paul can go F himself. I mean, I don't even like a crispy D10s, and this thing is like it's exactly where it needs to be.
It might be one of those things where because it's not mine and I didn't get a chance to just sit there and play with it for a day or two, that I haven't just gotten my thumb toughened up to that knife. I find it's always a matter of that with a new knife, usually.
I don't know if we actually talked about the price on this thing. Dennis was like, but for the price. So,
but for the price,
$215 is what it's listed at right now on the website. They are sold out currently, but I imagine they're going to get more in stock. $215 American for this is a screaming deal. Given everything.
Wait, did we mention the price?
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
For M390 titanium phosphor bronze washers, pretty sick.
Which is probably why they sell out so goddamn well, or within a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is that they sell out for. Yeah. Apparently not crashing servers, but I don't know why, because at that price, the next one that looks like it's healthy, like a Sea Otter, as Fisk mentioned earlier, because it's another design. And I'm like, oh yeah, I like it. I think I like the old guard more. Sea Otter is a little stockier,
I like the Sea Otter for the same reasons that I like Chavez knives.
Yeah.
Because you're wrong.
Because what?
Because you're wrong.
Oh, I see.
You don't like Chavez knives?
No, I just had to call you.
I do kind of like the look of the Sea Otter, but again, it's another like almost Sabenza.
It's a more square Sabenza. It's a square Benza.
But I don't have a Sabenza in Magna Cut, and I can't afford a Sabenza in Magna Cut. So
you got $4,000. Come on.
Not to spend on this.
At least it's not $6,000, Joe.
What exactly is the trade value on that?
$0.
Yeah, there's
the
that.
right answer. Yeah.
Oh God. Now, there's not that many things listed on their website that I'm looking at where like I wouldn't like to own that. Pretty much everything that's on here is like, no, shit, shovel it in. Maybe with the exception of the turbo, only because I've actually handled a couple Peter Carey designs in the past and have not been totally in love. Now they felt good in hand, but the action was just, I don't know, and that could have been a Spyderco problem, but
yeah. The Schweeter carries, right?
The Schweeter carries. I wish that would have been way better. But that being said, these are actually longer handle and bladed versions. That might actually be more.
Yeah, is very insistent that you need a. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that word.
Loxa?
Sure.
Oh, you mentioned that earlier, and I meant to bring up a tab about it.
Shoot. Good old Loxa.
So, I just gotta say, while Joe's looking that up, half the reason that I want a slayback is the ZDP Sanmai core.
Yes. Hell yes.
I want to play with it. And I also want to cut things with that knife.
So 2010 called, they want their super steel back there, Paul?
Maybe they were right all along.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I got a Cali 3 somewhere up in here.
I was just gonna
over there drink.
I was just gonna say, like, I know you've got one. I've got one somewhere in here as well, but
it's a steel that I have in a kitchen knife that I really like so far.
I retired it for this. But yes, kitchen cutlery, I can totally understand. But I retired my Cali 3 so I could carry a native with S90, and there's no regrets.
No, I was going to say that's the right answer. I thought you said you retired your native for the old guard, and I was like,
no.
Are those comparable? Are those comparable? I don't think they're comparable.
No. There was a Mr. DP Decade Edition that conveniently left the EDC box just recently, knowing that this was coming. Now the problem is lengthwise. That was a very different knife. So now, there's I just need to buy a new EDC box. I don't know.
You do.
I have plans. I have new plans.
I keep getting ads from Wayfair for an all wood toolbox, but like the big like mechanics sized toolboxes, but all wood. Yeah. It's like $3,600 or something like that, and I want it so bad.
Do they ship to Canada?
I don't even know.
That's the issue.
So the issue is at $3,600.
No, but that same company makes several other ones. I know which ones you're talking about with the wood. It's the same one Shabazz talks about. And there's tiers. There's 3 or 4 tiers that they make. But the problem is that they don't actually ship to Canada most of the time.
So CPM, thanks for turning me on to some stuff that's turning me on. These look freaking gorgeous, especially some of the inlaid work. Damn. I don't want to think about the price. Vaguely Sabenza-ish blades with some interesting looking handles. It's like
vaguely.
They filled all their speed holes.
Vaguely Sabenza-ish.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. That blur style thumb stud ain't doing it any fit. No, I'm joking. Actually,
they didn't for a thumb stud. They didn't fill them, Paul. They just got clogged.
It's shop dust. Don't worry about it. Why is it glowing? No. Doesn't matter. It's like a Sabenza.
That's the secret heat treatment. Handle. That's the secret heat treatment right there.
Is it though?
We should talk about heat treatment and other stupid shit
No,
tonight.
no,
Yeah,
we should not.
Yeah,
No.
we should. Yeah. We absolutely should. It's too late. Everyone's talking about it.
It's too late. Everyone's talking about it. Some of us are
knows.
not giving a shit and just using our knives and resharpening them when they're dull.
CPM is saying Scott Cook is a master. Is that who's making these?
Yes, that is the
yeah.
Because
what was the name of? I just had it here.
Apparently, he used to be Chris Reeves' shop foreman.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So also, side note, I follow Scott Cook knives. I have for a while.
Sweet. I don't think I do, but before you know what, I'm gonna do this now because I'm gonna forget otherwise. But
you not like you're on a live stream or anything. It's fine.
No. I can hold a conversation while adding someone to my
I can do both.
followed list.
I can do two things. My viewers appreciate it.
Look, I didn't spell Cook like Fluck. Well, I was trying to look him up, but you know what? There, followed. Sweet. I'm gonna look forward to looking through that later.
Good old Scott Cluck's nice.
Scott Cluck.
That's a different guy, and those aren't nice.
Oh, OnlyFans, you say? All right.
Oh,
well,
I said clock with an L.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard what you said.
It wasn't the L.
Oh God. Anyway, okay. So the old guard, you say? If you can get one, you should get one. It's a killer knife. I don't really recall seeing a lot of coverage on the YouTube review circuit. Maybe because this knife has been in and out for a while and it's difficult to, I don't know. But I think this thing deserves to be talked about.
I think for me, more than anything else, turns you on to Monterey Bay, if you haven't already. That's the moral of this story for me, is quality control on this thing was absolutely fantastic. As soon as I played with it, I was like, yeah, this is exactly everything you're looking for. Like, yeah.
I've been pondering a Monterey Bay, and between Fisk's review of them, as far as like me and him conversing about them and seeing this one in person, I think one of their knives is definitely in my future.
Which of them all, you're more leaning towards the slayback?
The slayback. Or the Sea Otter.
For me, I think it's probably going to be the EWC still. That's...
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is.
The slayback is just a ridiculous thing that needs to be in my hands.
It's pretty sweet. I will say, the one, and I'm pretty sure Dennis had a similar train of thought, but when it came to the Cali 3, moving away from this, because ZDP 189 should have very similar levels of edge retention to S90. You're not gaining that much in edge performance, but the big thing is, at least for me, this guy's kind of fat behind the edge, so you have to put a really steep angle if you want to get very fine cutting performance. And ZDP kind of wants to chip anyway, so getting it in a slayback with how thin that blade looks on camera, and how thin that grind is, that's going to be real interesting to see.
I don't know what you're talking about, thin grinds. I don't know if I can get that zoomed in, but thin grinds.
Mr. Fisk is saying in chat here that of the 3 Monterey Bays that he's had, yours had the worst action. So that really speaks to how good their quality control is, because it's fucking awesome.
So the best part is I didn't actually over loosen this knife. I loosened it off to be a nice piston-y pop. It doesn't fall shut on my hand. I haven't attempted to make it fall shut on my hand. It's just below that point, but how smooth it is the big thing. It's just glassy. I don't know if we're talking Sebenza glassy and blibbity.
This is extremely worn in, but like, you can get to that point, but
I can do that with my Monterey Bay if I were to loosen it off more than I did.
Yeah,
but because we've got fun Canadian laws, it came across safely and it was tightened, and I loosened it to what it's sitting on right now, and I did not go further. I didn't over loosen. I didn't see the extreme of. I went, yep, no, that's perfect. That's where I want it. And especially on the close, like people do the drop shot. I've always been the roll, always have. always will.
Not a bad way to do it.
I don't drop shut titanium frame locks. That's not my jam. I'll drop shut lock backs and access locks because why not, right? Like it's
I go both ways, but I definitely appreciate a good action like that where if you undo that lock, it's not going anywhere.
Depends what I'm in the mood for, but I think I agree.
Anyway, I'm sure I could actually probably loosen it off to the point where, I think that finishes us out on Monterey Bay knives. I think.
At least for now.
I think for me, this thing's getting at least 60, if not 63 Monterey's in a single bay. Think about that.
All right.
Okay, I have follow-up questions.
No questions at this time. Thank you. Have a good night.
Not at this time.
No, seriously, this thing's fucking awesome.
Direct your questions to my publicist.
If you had a fleet of Monterey's and you put them in a bay,
at least is 63 a fleet? Is that how
I
that?
think that's got to be more than a fleet. Like that's got to be
a fleet and a third.
I don't know how much is a fleet.
Okay.
You're gonna make me look. You're making me look things up.
Fizz, screw you and your enthusiasm. It's a goddamn 9.5 on this guy. This one's
he's not even doing a bullshit rating system.
No. No. He threw it down in the chat. This is more than a 7. This is like goddamn the almost perfect knife for me type of thing. I've got a Sebenza on order for a reason. Like it's much more than a 7. That's for sure.
Ben is rating it in chat right now. 100K in geese flocks flying north for the winter for the summer.
Flying north for the winter. I'm not sure, Ben. I think you might be confused there, sir.
I think he's having a strong.
No. He's having a strong. He acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Good shit.
I think he experienced a trunging and
it was a drive-by trunging.
He reiterates north for the winter.
Yes.
Again, I'm not sure. Like, make sure your helmet's on, man.
Don't skate too fast. MBK CPM. Oh, I really don't like MBK. So, okay, you got to be okay with Chinese-made knives. Gonna say that. But these things are really well made. Fit and finish seems to be great. I'm gonna trust on the reputation of the steel because I haven't used it myself. I don't know if it's actually M390. I don't know if they heat treat it like dog shit or not, but by reputation, they seem to be doing a good job. So I'm going to fall back on that. If everything's above board, seems to be pretty goddamn sweet.
If I'm going to be okay buying a Wii knife, I should be okay buying one of these.
Yeah.
Where does my patriotism lie? Is it Canadian made? Go Grimsmo? Go North Arms? Like, yeah, good for them. Go all of them. But when it comes to, and even your own, like American made, like, how many things are offshore from American companies? Or Kershaw, that was an American company that's now owned by Kai. Like it's.
And if you really want to get nitty gritty with it, hey, Benchman's using Chinese-made findings like thumb studs. How do you feel about that? Like,
just because the old guard manufacturers found some lying around the same factory, that you might find a drop point Griptilian thumb stud.
Yeah.
Who you're gonna get?
Who's
papers.
Copying who?
You're gonna get papers the way you're talking.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get a cease and desist any second now. I'm sure of it.
Thumb studs.
Better thumb stop.
Is that the opposite of thumb go? I don't know. Anyway.
Thumb go sounds like a really bad soup.
It is not a good soup.
Of all the things this thing is, not a good soup.
That's my rating for this knife. Of all of the fantastic things that this is, it is not a good soup.
Terrible.
I would give this 8.5 sea cows.
Sea cows. Okay, not sea otters.
No, sea cows. Very silly.
Can, like, every once in a while one of the sea otters be riding a sea cow?
I think yes.
I
Or
mean,
an alligator. I've heard that alligators and sea cows get along pretty well. I've heard, and by that I mean I saw it on the internet.
I'm pretty sure if it was anything named a cow, the alligator would eat it.
You would think, but they're quite big apparently. They tend to be left alone.
This conversation's still going.
You're just butchering the scoring system. Screw you. Monterey's is a good scoring system. I don't know how many Monterey's are a unit. Like, I don't know what a unit.
How many Monterey's are in a bay?
63 at least.
I don't know what the cubic metric.
By the way, a fleet is just a grouping of ships. There's no value, like there's no number specifically attached to that.
There should be. That's
as far
bullshit.
as Google is concerned. There's no definition that includes a value.
And I'm going to be honest, I forgot the actual name for the sea cow. But they're
the
delightful.
manatee.
That's the thing.
Yeah, good old sea cow, a mermaid.
8.5 manatees. Oh, the half manatee.
Oh, the humanities.
Oh, you're a minotaur.
It's minor tor.
Yeah. Think about that.
Minor. I'm a Tauran minor.
Yep. I think that pretty much wraps it up for the first impressions of this guy. Maybe we'll do a follow-up review with Dennis in a couple months. See what he thinks about it with a replacement clip. See if his opinion changes.
It's still a right hand only. It's hard.
Oh.
It's hard. It's hard, sir.
I'll be interested to see which knife it may knock out of your pocket.
It's contending with a thug right now. The thug's a fun knife for a right hand carry.
Yeah, that's a chunky bastard, isn't it? Man.
As of right now, yeah.
That thing's wicked. So, how do you feel about recurve tauntons? You still like them? You still think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread?
This is such a hint of a recurve. I'll tell you when I have to sharpen it, like with an oval or round or triangular stone, which I have all of, it'll be really hard. I'll.
Don't you have like the files with like the weird heart shapes and stuff too? Like I think you got it covered.
Hey man, it's Mother's Day. Come on, heart shapes are the thing.
Yeah, I'm not hating. I'm just saying you've got options when it comes to sharpening a curve.
And by the way, happy Mother's Day, you sons of bitches. It's all the male population.
Happy Mother's Day to us.
Reach out to your moms, you all bastards. It's why are you here right now?
Well, all right. There really is only one other topic to talk about, and no one wants to talk about it. But
there's multiple topics to talk about. You just want to steer the conversation that direction.
I do. It's such a shit.
He wants to steer the pot.
All right. Let me not say anything and watch Joe get sued. Carry on, sir.
Because he'll do it. No.
Because he'll do it. He'll take the whole.
We're gonna see it
down. He watches our dinky YouTube channel. Obviously, what we're talking about is the kerfuffle with Hinderer and Transparent Knives on Instagram. I don't really actually want to talk specifically about that conflict, but I want to talk about the source of that conflict, because I think there is something worth talking about there, even if it only is for a few minutes. So, one of the points of contention is that one of Hinderer's knives was found to be potentially barely out of spec. It probably was actually within spec, given the error range of the machine being used in question, but Transparent Knives makes the argument that the Hinderer hardness range is garbage for their 20 CV. And people have taken issue with that. So I kind of want to talk about your guys' opinions on 20 CV in particular, but just steel in general as well. different hardness ranges for different applications, different use cases. Because for me, that's the more interesting part, not the fact that there's this whole other thing going on where people are getting sued, and yeah, it's dramatic, but I kind of want to talk about the steel.
When you look at like Knife Steel Nerd's charts, and he's got charts of the same knife steel at different hardnesses, and you can see in real time how much better that knife is at its higher hardnesses in most cases. It's hard for me to say anything as far as like leaning to the softer side of that chart. But if you're making a knife for hard use, I can understand the appeal of that to a certain degree. Is that politically correct enough?
No,
yeah, that's garbage, by the way. It's the right answer, but it's garbage.
Yeah. I would. Why do you think it's garbage then, Dennis?
Because there's too many steels out there not to just use a different steel.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Pretty much all the Hinderer models right now that come out with the 20CV variant also come out with different, as far as I'm aware, they come with different blade steels. And I don't just mean, it's 20CV or M390. I mean, like S35VN and 3V, if I understand correctly. There are other options.
So the only thing with it is buying power and buying in bulk and just buying a crazy amount of whatever and just hardening it to a couple different variations depending on what you're doing for the application. I can understand that. If you did nothing but 1095 across the board and you had pocket knives with 62 to 64 and you had bush knives that were 58 to 60, I think everyone would be like, yeah, okay, cool, keep doing what you're doing. Like, it's
and application definitely changes the conversation for sure.
But I think people are pickier about that with especially the super steels out there compared to say 1095 that I just mentioned.
I think that's pretty accurate. Not to speak to, sorry.
S35 should, I think, be in that category of like, what am I doing with it? And people harped on Chris Reeve, not Tim, Chris, S35, too soft impact. Well, fixed blades in particular.
Well, but even their folders were, what was it? Was it 58 to 60 or 59 to 61? It was a 3-point spread, but
it wasn't over 60. I don't think it was over 60.
Yeah, up to 57, 60, but I don't.
57 to 59. Yeah.
57 to 59. Yeah.
Back in the day.
So.
Black Frost might actually be able to his Green Beret, because it's an older school with the fixed blade on it.
If he remembers, that'd be cool to know.
56 to 58. 55 to 57. I think I saw those written on a card once upon a time.
Yeah. So, not to speak too far out of my depth here, but I have some background knowledge of how a lot of this stuff works, at least on the production side of things. Through my own experiences as well as my own research and background going through school, learning about heat treating different steels and all that. So, but do take what I say with a bit of a grain of salt here. That aside, there are certain problems when you heat up a steel to a higher temperature in order to get a higher hardness. There are things you can do to mitigate issues, but most frequently you're worried about things like warping. Massive companies like Peter's Heat Treat, who does the heat treatment for Hinderer, and a bunch of other companies too. And they do a really good job by reputation. They seem to do just absolutely fantastic work, but they work with a lot of knives at once. They're not individually plate quenching every single blade that comes out of their assembly. So they're not necessarily going to have every single blade come back immaculately straight if they're at the upper range of the temperature for their hardening quench. There is the potential that there can be problems. Also, the harder you make your blades, the more difficult they are to do finishing work and grinding work and sharpening. It takes more abrasive belts in order to shape these things. Like, there are costs of manufacture that go up the harder these blades become. There is also the potential worry that you're going to end up with a blade that is more easily broken by the end user because they're misusing it or something similar. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with the actual performance of the steel as a blade steel that go into a decision-making process as to why things may not be on the upper end of a hardness range. Personally, I think the spec range for the price that Hinderers are at should probably be a bit of a tighter spread. I don't think 3 points is... And that could be an artifact of that's just how Peters Heat Treat does their work, and we like using them because they give us consistent good results. Also, I seem to recall that of the 12 knives that Transparent had tested, evidently, I think the vast majority of them were over 60. So it's not like these guys were too far off the mark. It was just this one that was a bit of an outlier.
Yeah, like compared to the heat treatment fiascos of... And who even knows the validity? I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting it sued. Go ahead, serve me papers. I live in Canada.
I think we can still get you here.
Even still, let's talk about the fiasco of Benchmade of Lion Steel and whether they were redeemed or not. I think a lot of people, whether they respected the answers, Ontario used to straight up claim, what was it, like 52 to 58 or 55 to 60 or
yeah.
So I mean, regardless of the fiascos, Hinderer being within a point or two, like Spyderco's have been called out as being within a point or two at any point in time.
Yeah, which is surprising because
Spyderco's, if they say 64, it could be 65, it could be 63.
Yeah.
So
Spyderco's usually pretty tight-lipped about their hardnesses, but I do acknowledge the point for sure.
But they usually do a pretty good job as far as like pushing that envelope. Do they not?
Except for when it comes to stuff like VG10, but
yeah.
So Black Frost just checked his Green Beret. It's an older model. Can you all see what's up in the comments? Both fingers. Both fingers on that one.
55, 57. Yeah, that's
you were going to bash on said S35. Is yours S35? S30?
I think so, right?
Either way, doesn't matter. Too soft. Goddamn.
When is he gonna take it out in the bush and beat it up?
At 55 to 57, now that I know that, you better go hammer on that thing. There's no, it's might as well call it 1075 at that point.
Yeah.
My Aatrox holds a better edge than that bullshit.
So marketing is the other big reason I would say that Hinderer and other like companies would choose a given steel and not harden and temper it to what enthusiasts would call an optimal spec. Again, I'm trying to be somewhat politically correct about this.
I think is the key to that whole thing. Sorry? Honestly. I said I think enthusiast is the key to that whole conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a saying, but essentially just boils down to like not everybody knows what's right for them. Some people want to do stupid shit with their knives, like use the tips of them for screwdrivers. And then they're going to complain when the tips break off. And then we laugh at those people and say, oh, how silly. But people will do silly shit.
Black Frost's is old enough, Jen, that it's an S30, not an S35.
Oh, fair enough. Wow. Okay.
Crazy.
So it might just break in half. Sorry, I'm a little sullied over the whole
that's hilarious.
edge rolling factor of S30, but
that's fair.
My fixed bladed Contigo doesn't like me because of how much I tried to push it.
Yeah.
Spinning out that edge
a little bit too far, but yeah. All I'm saying is I think even aside from the problematic situation that's come about because of it, I think it is a discussion worth having, but I think the takeaway isn't something that a lot of people are realistically going to like. Maybe you shouldn't be using your folding knife to pry open car doors. Like, maybe there's that.
But what happens when I need to free a grizzly bear from a car?
Be a real gear guy and have a pry bar in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Well, I just
Absolutely.
went and got my handy Swiss Army knife. I got a can opener. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, dude, there's a pry bar on my Leatherman. Like, they don't even call it a flathead screwdriver anymore. They call it a pry bar.
You might as well call it the jaws of life right there.
Yeah. Look, I get that, and there is something to be said, too, for understanding, like, for knife makers understanding their market, and for the knife purchaser to understand what the knife was made for. Hinderers have always been about the hard-use, tactical, emergency responder sort of use case. It's never been about, like, optimal cutting performance. That's just not their bag. I think they know that. And I think with that in mind, the spec isn't really that bad as far as what the knife is theoretically intended to do. And I say theoretically because I see a lot of safe queens out there, and I know not every Hinderer purchaser just gets them to be safe queens, but there's a lot of really sexy Instagram and Blade Forums photos that say, hey, these things never get used.
Is there a market, do you think, for knife companies making it an option where you can choose a specific hardness?
Is there a market for it? Probably. How feasible would it be to service that market? Probably not that great.
Even if it was 2 ranges instead of
see, rather than the 2 ranges, what I think I would rather see is, like, let's say you really like. Okay, let's say somebody contacts me for one of my friction folders, and they say they want to just beat the ever-loving shit out of it. And I tell them, it's like, okay, but I'm using 20 CV and it's hardened to like a 61, 62, so, maybe don't. If they were willing to pay the difference, I would make it for them in 3V. But I'd be more willing to do that, I think, than change the spec on one particular blade. I feel like I'd rather choose. I think I'd rather choose the steel for the application rather than vice versa.
But that's a fair argument. There's 3,000 of them or something like that. So
yeah, I know, and I know that's not feasible for a lot of companies. But take a look at Benchmade. How many knives have they come out with over the years where it's like, yeah, you could get the standard version in S30, or you can get it in M4. And you can do whatever the fuck you want with it in M4 because it's M4. And the S30 is just going to hold a better edge and it'll be chippier, sure. But if cutting performance is, well, okay, I should back that up a little bit. M4 is about the same edge retention as S30, but still. Point being, there are companies out there that you can get different versions of steels. The PM2 is the perfect example. I don't know why didn't think about that with all the different sprint runs and limited variants, and maybe that's not
in general.
Yeah. Just experimenting and jumping back and forth between different steels. I wish more companies would do that, because sometimes there are designs I see where it's like, wow, that's super cool. I really wish I could pay for a different steel, like CRKT all the time. I wish for better blade steels a lot of the time. But I think that's applicable to pretty much any knife company. I know not everybody likes 14C Sandvik, but I mean, I personally love 14C Sandvik. It's great.
Those people are wrong.
They are wrong, absolutely. But it'd be nice to have the choice in certain options,
Yeah.
I'd like to see it a little more budget friendly. I mean, it's starting to become more budget friendly, but I think as more people are starting to lean towards other steel options, 1428 might become more budget friendly as time goes on and become the new 8CR, right? Like it's
okay. To that point, that would be cool, because when he said more budget friendly, I'm like, Rook though. We've been talking about Rook for how long? And they make some cheap stuff with 14C.
But Ontario, as much as I slag on Ontario for their fixed blades and their 1095 that's heat treated like it's a shovel, they have started to jump on 1428 Sandvik too, right? So
Do they heat treat that like a shovel as well?
I don't know.
Verdict still out.
So it would be a slightly more impact resistant shovel.
Well, and see, with 14
more rust resistant shovel.
That too. Yeah.
With 14C Sandvik, with 14C Sandvik in particular, according to Knife Steel Nerds Laren's testing at the very least, and I think a couple others, 14C Sandvik is one of the toughest blade steels on the market, like, period. Like, it's tougher than 3V, to put that in perspective, for the same hardness. That's ridiculous. I definitely want to see 14C in more applications, and I want to see it in more big fixed blades.
Maybe a stainless shovel.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah,
I'm just
dude,
saying.
14C
Okay.
Sandvik, like the cold steel Spetsnaz shovel. I would get that in 14C. That'd be ridiculous. Probably be expensive as hell.
I want a big fuck off Bowie in it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
dude.
Instead
One
of
of the
40,
reasons
34 cold steel. Get your shit together. They don't have contract on Sandvik anymore.
Dude,
Just
make
make
it a
it
12C Sandvik. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons I was so interested in getting these guys in 14C Sandvik is because of how needle thin these blades get. You can support geometry like that if your steel is tough as shit. So why the hell not, right?
What's the toughness spec on 12C?
12C? I want to say it's
this
similar.
much. It's this much, Paul. It's
That many?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I actually have the chart favorited on my phone,
Because
so I can
a
reference
Laredo
that
Bowie in 12C or 14C, really. But
watch him look up the chart, and it'd be about that much. Yeah, both 350. Both 350.
That's 350. I'm actually not.
Damn it, Loch Ness Monster.
I wonder if I just have Laren's charts available here. I don't see 12C listed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see if it's tougher or less tough. That's all.
On that note, we got to wrap this fucking stream up, boys.
Indeed. I've got Steak calling my name.
You should get it to stop. Steak shouldn't be talking.
Oh, I'm gonna.
It's saying your name. Say my name. Say my name.
Nice.
Yeah, indeed. It's mooing my name.
That's kind of sad. You go put it out of its misery. Go put it out of my misery, in fact.
So, yeah.
Anyway, to reiterate.
Thanks for that, Joe.
Hinderer. What's that?
I was gonna say thanks for getting that suit. Appreciate that. Yeah. So we'll let you know the follow-up comments in Joe's story.
Don't sue us, Hinderer. Your knives are fine.
Don't sue us. Sue Joe.
Hey. I even said multiple times the spec makes sense for what the knives were designed for. That's not the discussion.
No, I agree.
That's not what we're discussing here at all.
No.
Discussion.
All right. I guess last thing to talk about. We've waited this long. We got a giveaway. Instagram. I don't know what else is going on other than the Instagram giveaway, but we got a giveaway. We went over 1,000 viewers. We're gonna give something away. We don't know what the deadline is. We haven't
figured things out yet, but we're gonna do it.
I do know the one knife right up in there that we're giving away.
Don't right up in there with it. It's the right color, but don't do it.
Depends on chip up or chip down. Is it left-hand carry? Oh, it is. You can do it both ways.
I just feel like the pocket clip would get pinchy.
I'm gonna pop that photo just so we can
take the pocket clip off like an old guard. That's the answer. Nice and contoured.
And then you just carry it in your prison wallet.
So anyway, we're giving away a Civivi riffle. Speaking of 1428 Sandvik, isn't it?
It's a sweet little blade.
It is, yes.
It's not D2, is it?
No, I think it's 14C Sandvik. It should say somewhere in very tiny text.
Yeah, keep looking. No, look harder.
All right. Oh yeah, 1428 Sandvik. Look at that. Toughest steel on the market compared to 3V or something. Joe said it. Sue him.
Sue Laren.
Sue Laren.
Don't sue anybody. Apparently, it's correct information.
Sue who you need to sue.
If they try and sue Laren, that it would just fall apart. He actually did proper testing.
So yeah, Patreon subscribers will automatically be entered into the giveaway as well. That includes Stanson 357 because he did do it the long way around. It's an Instagram giveaway, but you'll be auto entered because you support us. So
would you say this is a riffle raffle?
I think I hated it at first, if I'm being honest, but it grew on me.
A few seconds ago, I had a very just disgusted look on my face. But that was exactly that. Thinking it, and then no, I like this.
We're gonna have to ruffle up a riffle raffle.
It was like smelling a bad fart, and then after a second, being kind of impressed by it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like no. Well done, sir. Well done.
My brand.
Oh, pumpkin.
It's
Pumpkin.
oh, cumin.
Oh.
Who would have thought? It's all right. Yeah. So we're gonna give that away. We're gonna give some other stuff away, but thanks to everyone who continues to watch and subscribe and view. Pay attention to Instagram posts, Paul, to have some further details.
I posted last week.
Really?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Damn.
66 people even liked the post.
Damn, son. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. Also, thanks to Fisk for popping an old guard my way. You made an old guard happy, son.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was pretty bad.
I enjoyed it for the record, but it was still pretty bad. But seriously, thanks for all the
love.
love.
I'm trying to make an old joke about your struggles for the payment, but it's not coming together for me.
Yeah, well, there's a joke in there somewhere. Punchline.
What do you mean you can't accept e-transfers across nations?
International waters. I tell you.
Is there a lot of international? Well, I guess there is some freshwater international water.
There is definitely some international waters between me and Fisk. Just because they're not big bodies.
A bit of tap water that was left on accidentally.
Tap water, there's plumbing, goddammit.
I can guarantee there's plumbing between me and I.
There is some serious international waters.
It's all lead pipes. That explains so much.
I bet you if you looked at the distance, I bet you it would be like the ocean. 60% water, like 80% water, 90% water between me and Fisk. Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of water, bud.
There's a lot of pipes.
There are a lot of pipes. You've got me there.
Well, that's not the debate I expected at the end of the evening. That's fantastic.
Indeed.
All right, gentlemen. Yeah. I think that calls it a night, eh?
I think so.
I think it's for the best.
We shall see you all again next week. Thanks for joining us. Same bat time, same bat channel. I am who I am. I'm Dennis Fibers.
I am the Iron Joe.
Exile.ca.
Thanks
and
once again,
pineapple
guys.
Shirt.
Yes, it is. Keep an eye out on the Instagram.
Pineapples.
Hey. Pineapple shirt.
Watch the Instagram.
Good question.
Rules will be following.
Pineapple.
Kind of wish I didn't.